Welcome to our recap, the news station that desperately asks, what the hell is a Krispy Kreme? It is Canada Day over here in the peninsula. Celebrating today, we moved from Britain and became our own nation. And to non-Canadians, here's a quick guide. We eat Tim Hortons every day, we treat hockey as a religion, and most importantly, we have a capital in a province called Regina. Anyways, we got way more than last week. Thankfully, this is not a Nintendo majorized news stories like last week. So if you came here for weekly Donkey Kong Country Returns HD news, I have really bad news for you. Anyway, I'm your host, William D. Evans, and let's jump into last week. First off, we got the Beer and Cinema movie report. It happened last week, it's gonna happen this week, and it's gonna happen next week. This will be something very much weekly. I wonder if the word annual has a weekly version of it. I sadly made a massive mistake when stating that last week would be your last chance to see Inside Out 2, with the next week being also Inside Out 2. Now, that logic applies to this week. So, tomorrow will be your last night to watch Inside Out 2, and then next week will be Inside 2 once more. I still don't know why they put this movie twice out, while things like FNAF, Taylor Swift, and Barbie didn't. But just to freshen up this part, I think we're gonna give a quick review of what the movie was. It was great. Not fantastic levels we saw with the original. I feel like that one was a bit more mature. For example, Riley attempted to run away in the first one. But I feel like the sequel is a lot more mature in its own way. Riley hit puberty, and 4 new emotions have come into headquarters and have been running amok and driving everybody out. We got anxiety. I really like anxiety as an antagonist, you know? You really understand where she's coming from when it comes to a lot of her ideas. She believes that her and the other 3 emotions are more complex and therefore could easily replace the original 5. But that is sadly not the case, since those 5 emotions represent things that the other 4 can't do. No of those 4 emotions could easily make Riley happy. Envy was this take it or leave it character. I feel you could easily have taken her out of the movie and it wouldn't have made a single difference. Same thing with ennui, the boredom emotion. Embarrassment was a fun comedic relief character that did do some quick helping things as well. The new areas in Riley's mind in the film were interesting. I quite enjoyed the vault with the Dora the Explorer knockoff and the 3DS character, and that everything I can say without spoilers. Oh well, I could tell you guys about Riley's panic attack. Anyway, there's another story up next. The fire ban has been lifted in Newfoundland. So, this week, the week before last week, the Newfoundland government made the announcement that any open fires would be banned in the province due to the chances of wildfires being very high. Fast forward to last week when the Newfoundland government announced that the ban had been lifted. But only in Newfoundland though. Yeah, Labrador is still having the ban in place for some reason, meaning that, they're probably jealous. We can start a campfire and, roast marshmallows that we either burn on purpose or burn when we're trying to seriously make a marshmallow. It happens to the best of us. But even then, since today's Canada Day, I guess you could go Canadian Tire and finally get yourself some fireworks that you've been holding off on. Massive Nintendo leaker has been exposed. On the internet, there has been this user on X that can easily and accurately and with perfect precision leak Nintendo's big announcements. His name, Pioro. Pioro is a Nintendo leaker who has a massive track record that contains him leaking every major Nintendo announcements since 2023. I don't like to follow him since I like to keep my experiences pure. Like, even back in the Pierce days, like, I just did not cover any of his stuff because, it's just a rumor. Like, rumors could easily be proven wrong. But, like, recently, like, Pioro did not say anything when it came to, like, the week before last week's Nintendo Direct. And that was very suspicious. Like, nothing like you really said was true. And I think we, like, now know why that was the case. So, like, Pioro said in an interview, like, with a certain article that I couldn't find, that he actually works with a Japanese man to get, like, a lot of, like, the content, like, to get a lot of the content out, because, like, that man, like, actually had, like, access to the, like, background access to the websites Nintendo has for their new games. And since there have been no websites for any of the new games announced, like, during this Direct, Pioro, like, just didn't have anything. But now, since his secret is out, Pioro has deleted all of his social media, and the Japanese man has probably been executed over at Nintendo, because nobody messes with Nintendo. So what's next? That is something very uncertain. Like, it's all up to our instincts to prepare us for new Nintendo Directs. PlayStation VR might be getting killed. So if you bought a PlayStation VR, I have some terrible news for you. So PlayStation has announced that there will be a PC adapter for the PlayStation VR 2, the VR headset that they make. And let me tell you now, the PlayStation VR 2 will get discontinued in 2 years from now, and here's why. PlayStation has slashed the price one time by $100. That was only once, but slashing that price that high for like a system that released like 2 years ago is still very much unheard of and unprecedented. But it looks like, only 2 games are in development in-house apparently, and the future games, like, there are no new games in development after those, according to a recent Sony hack. So, the PlayStation VR 2 is on its way out, and I can definitely understand why. The concept of virtual reality in the form of gaming is still very much in its early stages. Like, there are a lot of good ideas and good games that take advantage of this, like, the ideas that, like, VR can bring to the world. Like, for example, Gorilla Tag, that's a really big one. But, like, most games are usually just proof of concept or, like, tech demos. Like, nothing that much is too concrete. Like, it just needs a few more years to be fully fleshed out as an idea, you know? Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble is out now. The new installment in the Super Monkey Ball series has finally been released, and people are saying that this is the first good Monkey Ball game in 20 years. Now, the Monkey Ball games are games where you can tilt the environment to get around, to get a monkey, like, in a ball to the goal. And from the past games, it's either add, like, a tacky gimmick, like with the newer ones, that people really didn't like, or the tilt physics were not smooth or responsive enough. But here, from what people have said, the controls feel, like, very nice and just feel correct, like, to move the environment around. So, good on Sega. They managed to make a Monkey Ball game that is not hated by the majority of its fans. The Team Fortress 2 developers finally do something with the game after a massive crisis. So Team Fortress 2 has this massively fatal issue going on for a while now. The issue is that like the servers and lobbies have been overrun by a bunch of bots made by other people. And thousands of bots in lobbies are making the games like less fun and more boring, you know? Like you're not interacting with actual human players, you're interacting with AI, you know? So the Team Fortress 2 community had to go for drastic measures. They had to review bomb their own game, like their own favorite game. Essentially, the act of review bombing is to constantly spam negative reviews on a certain thing. Probably usually done to like get a point across. But essentially, the review bombing got so bad, it turned its Steam page into overwhelmingly negative. So Valve, the developers of Team Fortress 2, finally had to like delete a couple of those fan-made bot accounts. So yeah, it might be a very minuscule change, but that change could easily be enough, you know? Microsoft, oh, not that one yet. Gorilla Tag City update. Gorilla Tag got itself a new update. Instead of doing their usual rotating map every month, they are trying something a little different. They are keeping the rotating map idea, yes, but as it is right now, like they're keeping the rotating map as it is right now, which is Caves right now. If you were wondering, OG Caves is back. They are adding a new permanent map to the game instead for this update. City. Within the store, you can find a downward stairwell that will take you into a city. This city looks pretty decent. I can definitely get behind like what the developers what the developers were intending to do. Like you were meant. I feel like they want you to feel like King Kong, like going around like in the city, you know? And like people are already making Subway Surfers role plays in the Gorilla Tag map as I speak, so that means people are really enjoying it as it stands. Though the cargo in the sea is extremely bouncy for some reason. No wonder they are protected so heavily. Microsoft is getting sued by Europe. Microsoft is getting sued for a breach of antitrust laws by the European Union. Why? Well, it seems like Microsoft included Teams in their Microsoft Office bundle. Microsoft Office is this stuff like Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, you know? And Teams is like Google Meet, but like Microsoft made and like for more job-like personal things, you know? Like for a business meeting. And I think Europe is very dumb for saying that you don't need Teams on Office. Essentially, all the things in Office can be used very effectively for Teams. Like for example, you could use like a PowerPoint presentation like as a boss to show your employees like certain things that you want them to do, you know? So like, while it's not a feature you need most of the time, it is like a feature that can only add to Microsoft, like to using Microsoft. The Megan universe. Megan was a horror movie about a doll who is designed to be a perfect friend, then goes rogue as time goes on. That movie did really well at the box office, and it looks like a sequel is heading into production. But not only a sequel to Megan, but a spin-off in the same universe as well, Soulmate. A story about a grief-stricken husband who builds a robot lady that goes rogue. I don't know about this one. What made Megan stand out was the fact that it was original and connected to kids with their screen addictions. So to do that again twice seems very mind-numbing and unnecessary. Shrek 5 is more finished than we think. So Shrek 5 is one of those elusive movies the public knows nothing about. It's been said to be in development hell, being canceled, uncanceled, canceled again. But now we have some answers. In an interview with the Collider, Eddie Murphy, the voice of Donkey, stated that the first third of the movie had been voice acted, and DreamWorks is hoping for a 2025 release date. But with that, there is also talks of a Donkey spin-off movie, a movie centering around Donkey, though seems very hard. Like, Puss in Boots is very much Spanish, so Puss in Boots series was very able to take its own identity. While Donkey, it's just a goofy sidekick. How are you going to make how are you gonna make the comedic relief of the Shrek franchise like the main character? So yeah, I hope Shrek 5 is good, but I'm very skeptical about this donkey movie being proposed. Dogman movie first look. The Dogman is getting a movie, and I am pumped. Slated for January 2025. Like, the Dogman series was like the book series I grew up on. I saw it for the first time at a book fair, and I wanted it. I used all of my money and bought what would be the peak of young reading books, young children's books. I read all of the chapters daily, and after rereading it, it still holds up very well. I still chuckle with the 13 o'clock news story. And when that first look at the movie leaked, I got damn near emotional. It looks so amazing. If the comics were expanded on. I just want to see the trailer, and I will be satisfied. No joke, I will be 100% satisfied. An AI Winnie the Pooh series. Ever since Winnie the Pooh went through the public domain, the brand has been tarnished with 2 whole horror movies. And now there's a new Winnie the Pooh series coming to Amazon Prime and made by a studio called Cartoon Studios. Cartoon with a K. This series seems to be very, much AI made. All the animation and visuals seem to be from AI. Now, AI has gotten really good at making things move properly as of recent. If you've seen the TikTok time travelers, you know what I mean. But others might say it gets rid of all the hard-working people on the project. But there are no confirmed people that have been laid off from the project to use AI. So you're fighting for jobs that never even existed. The new norm. X has started a new idea. Web series. X is starting to post web series on their platform, and it's judging how the first one's going. It looks like this ship is going to crash really soon. The new norm is a series that kicks things off, and is only noteworthy for the things within it. You see, this is a series that the conservatives call anti-woke. The term used when a piece of media that exists that aligns specifically with a conservative's point of view. You've probably heard of that there's this culture war going around with a bunch of right-wing influencers, celebrities and politicians using the terms for movies that don't fit their personal views as woke. You've probably heard terms like woke or pandering going around for quite a while. And my stance on the whole matter is that those words are just used to hide others' bigotry. But anyway, the new norm seems to be targeting a specific group of people. The LGBT community, and more specifically, non-binaries. I want to know what beef Elon Musk has to make a right-wing political cartoon like this just to crap on a very specific group. And also, unfortunately, the pilot also targets the trans community as well. And the pilot episode stars a man on house arrest bashing those two things for 3 minutes. So this show was not to be entertainment. I'm pretty sure it was meant to be radicalization. Mr. Beast caught in crossfires by bigots. Everybody, Meet Nick Merckx, a content creator that has gotten a lot of attention for his homophobic and transphobic rants. And now he has found his next low-hanging fruit to pick on. Nick Merckx has been going off at Ava Tyson, formerly Chris, probably because it will give him more attention via RageBait. And it's going to be well for him. It's been going well for him, which is a very scary part. This kind of behavior went so bad, Mr. Beast had to step in and tell Nick Merckx to back off on Ava. Ava, in the past, has gotten a lot of transphobia since she came out. And this is no Sunny V2 documentary like last time. This is a full-blown attack on Ava that I hope never happens again. Dr. Disrespect has been canceled. Dr. Disrespect is, or should I say was, one of the biggest and most popular streamers out there. But one thing people have been wondering is, why was he banned off Twitch a couple years ago? And it's simple. Dr. Disrespect was being a PDF file in the sneakiest way possible. He was texting underage girls on a defunct feature on Twitch called Whispers. This was all confirmed by one Cody Connors online. A lot of people were very skeptical about this situation. I get it. Why immediately leave someone you love and you trust? But after an investigation by a company Dr. Disrespect founded, Midnight Suns, they confirmed that this actually happened and he was terminated from any involvement of the company moving forward. And it ended with him making an apology to everything. And he will be taking a long break from content creation. And hey, he sounded sincere enough in the apology. He also made the stance that he's a different person now than the one he was back then. So maybe, just maybe, he could be redeemed one day. Only one day. The Panthers win the 2024 Stanley Cup. Well, the 2024 NHL season has came to an end in June of all things. Why is it ending in June? Is this normal? I am very new to covering hockey news, so please pardon my French. But it all came down to this. The Edmonton Oilers and Florida Panthers duked it out until one remained. And Florida beat Edmonton by 1 point. It was close, I'm telling you. If Connor McDavid was not there, Florida would have beaten Edmonton with a 4-0 ratio. But regardless, Florida takes home Stanley Cup, whether you like it or not, and I don't. Massive poop protests in France. The 2024 Summer Olympics have been happening in a month, and they're happening in Paris. So France wants to have the opening ceremony to be near the river, or near the Eiffel Tower. So there is a massive problem with doing this, though. You see, the river in there, the river near the Eiffel Tower, is very harmful, to human health. If a French kid wants to skip school, he could just put his head in that river and he would skip school for 5 days straight. So France has spent $5 million trying to clean it, and after all that work, it's only very slightly less harmful. But regardless, the opening ceremony will still be happening there. So for some reason, as a protest, a bunch of people are taking une merde in the river, or throwing une merde in the river. Why are they doing this? Well, the protesters believe that the river clean could have been used to solve some of France's issues. I mean, I get where they're coming from, but these two things, river cleaning and politics, they were never meant to be compared. So what's the point here? Dave Grohl makes supposed attack on Taylor Swift. Dave Grohl is very much known for being one of the nicest and most kind music artists, but right now is facing a lot of backlash from Swifties over a joke he made. He made a joke about the Eras Tour name and decided to jokingly call his concert that the Eras Tour. Now this apparently is what a bunch of anti-Swifties have been calling the Eras Tour for a while now, since there's this very minuscule piece of evidence that suggests like Taylor's faking her singing and just lip syncing. I highly doubt that's the case, but I even more doubt that Dave made that joke truly knowing that people were calling the Eras Tour for that purpose. This Eras Tour movement is so small that I'm sure it was only after the X-rays did he realize what it actually meant. The moral of the story, don't mess with Swifties or anti-Swifties. Just don't even talk about Taylor Swift at all because you're going to get canceled either way. Tesla Cybertrucks have been recalled again. I really wonder if Elon Musk realizes how bad the Tesla Cybertruck actually is, since it has gotten recalled 4 whole times now. 4! God bless its soul. I really wonder if the Cybertruck tested for any of the problems outside of the windows being indestructible, and it can't even do that. So just to recap everything wrong with this thing, alright, here I go. The front windshield can break, probably leaving glass in your face. The charger can get stuck into the truck itself, meaning that you have a parked Tesla in your driveway that you just can't get rid of. Trunk door can just fly off whenever it wants. And most offensively, the damn thing can brick. Bricking is when, like, for example, like a system, like a smartphone, like, just stops working, like, or it works, but it has, like, a bunch of crash screens on it. So, why make a car so reliant on technology to function that it can brick and be useless? Well, I don't think we should even have Cybertrucks in production anymore. I think like they need to put these things on pause until the Cybertruck people can smarten the hell up. The 2024 presidential debate. It's time. It's the moment all Americans have been waiting for. It's the 2024 presidential debate. These debates are usually heated and filled with the roars from each party, because both parties know that these debates could shape the public opinion and the votes as a whole. And this debate was terrible. I'm not joking. There are no slightly positive adjectives in the question. First off, the warning signs were clear, since the debate would not have a live audience, and the presidents were boring to watch. But like it would not have an alliance, and like the presidents could not interrupt, meaning that even if the debate did not go the way it did, it would have still been pretty boring to watch. But putting that issue aside, it's still terrible. Both Trump and Biden did a really fantastic job with absolutely just ignoring and dodging any questions or like issues like within America. And like poor Biden, like the poor man, like just drifting off at various points. Like his mind wanted to be somewhere like a Ben and Jerry's. So like the debate essentially proves my point that I was making back in the Pierce days, that America's choices this year are an 80-year-old dementia patient or a literal convicted felon. Biden, he's been a great guy throughout his life, but I think it's time for him to retire. He just needs to live the rest of his days in peace with his family. Like, I think that's what he should do. And Trump, I have no problems with any conservatives. But having your big main contender be a guy who's been arrested last year and had sex with a porn star, it's not a good look for him, you know? And lastly, white parents adopt 5 black kids as slaves. So there's this white couple, who I won't say for privacy reasons, who essentially adopted 5 black kids to work for them as slaves. The police inevitably came to rescue. What they found was disturbing. They trapped they were trapped in an area that was constructed in probably 5 days and 13 hours. It had no indoor plumbing or even comfortable furniture. I can't even believe that something that feels straight out of the 18th century actually happened like this. Like, by God, like what were the foster parents like what was going through their minds? Anyway, that's all I have for this week's World Recap. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so more episodes will pop up when they release. Also, you can like this video so more Newfoundlanders and Pure Peninsulans have the chance to find this content. And be sure to comment down below what topics I should cover next week that happened this week. Anyways, I'm off to watch The Boys.